Hi, Tom.
Hey
How are you,
Mike, what's
buddy?
up? How you doing?
Not too bad for an old man. And this one is we're going right into it. King of California. This
King of
one is
California.
we're revisiting Michael Douglas once more.
Yeah, we
After
just didn't get enough of them.
I know. Well, I'll tell you what. The guy is definitely talented, and he's got
He's
a
got some incredible range.
he really does. And this one's different than a lot of other stuff that he did. But if you want to this was my pick, but if you go right into your intro and give us the synopsis
Okay,
on it.
so today's movie is King of California, put out in 2007, starring Michael Douglas and a rather young Evan Rachel Wood.
Yeah, yeah.
It
She 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 looked all of the teenage part she's playing. So
She really did. So we find that Michael Douglas is her father. She plays Miranda. He plays Charlie. And as the film starts, he is just getting out of a mental institution.
right,
She
where
picks him up.
he's been staying a few years actually, right? Two or three.
I didn't get a feel of how long he had been in there for, at
Yeah,
least a year or two.
right, right. Yeah, because she's been, and that you really feel bad for her because she's she's got two parents because obviously her mother wasn't very responsible either and and they both kind of have left her on her own. She's been fending for herself. She buys this shitbox car that she's using to get around to a job at McDonald's, and and you know, like the father has like no respect for her job, and there she is at the
Well, the
counter at
thing
McDonald's.
is the father is he's flighty. He lives,
Yeah,
he's not so insane that he's schizophrenic or completely delusional, but he does have his own reality that is
yeah,
not quite the same as ours.
yes, yeah. This movie, the reason, partly the reason I picked it is there's a lot of feelings going on with this one, but that you feel so much. That first of all, there's the relationship between Michael Douglas and Evan Rachel Wood, and there's something really special about a father daughter relationship anyway, and the bond between father daughter, and I think it almost seems like for Michael Douglas, it takes him a little while to fully like realize what he's got there, and but he's actually he as hippy dippy as he is, and as flighty. And hey, let's face it, he's got some mental
He has some
issues.
issues.
Yes, but and you have to excuse that a little bit because of that is a part of it. But I mean, this poor kid has been keeping the house. Um, it's the only thing that she's got to hold on to is this whole house that's being all around them. Their houses are being torn down and rebuilt, and new houses coming in. This whole development, and he comes out, and of course he's right onto this crazy, insane idea. Which, if you want to keep going with this, because we kind of side, or I sidetracked you. So
So for those at home, because this is a movie with a story. A lot of
yeah,
times we do movies where the story doesn't matter, but it does in this case because it's a
yeah,
great story.
yeah,
So he's a little off his bean, but he's extremely creative and intelligent, and he learns of this old Spanish expedition that got basically lost in California. And before they completely disintegrated, before they all went their separate ways, the leader of the expedition buried gold. And so Michael Douglas's character is sure that there's buried gold somewhere nearby.
yeah.
And he triangulates and gets all these maps and does all these things and finally decides it's underneath a Costco.
That is what the thing that really cracked me up. First of all, I love Costco. Shout out to Costco. They're not sponsoring us in any way. I wish you would, but no, I love the stores, and he's right there. You can find anything on a Costco.
You really can't.
But that's hysterical, the fact that it's underneath the Costco. But keep going because
Well,
you're
it's not as hysterical as they actually decide to break into said Costco, tear through the floor to find the gold. So in essence, we've got this is partially a heist film.
yeah, yeah. Well, and she actually gets a better job because she's actually working as a one of the food. Hey, I would love a job doing that. I every time I go to Costco, I always there's always great samples out there. There's
I
television.
do imagine working at a Costco is definitely a step up than working at a fast food place.
Yeah, I mean, the abuse that people, you know, um, I get it. Everybody's frustrated, but people take it out on fast food workers, and the job is shitty enough.
There's no excuse for that. I
There
mean,
is
I don't
no
care
excuse
how
for that.
bad your day is. You shouldn't
Yeah,
be making someone else's worse.
yeah. To me, it's reprehensible, is what it is. So yeah, like I said, I feel like the amount of abuse that gets heaped on um, any kind of service worker these days, you know, whether it's not tipping them or whether it's if it's a job that involves tips or whether it's or whether it's just giving them abuse. I mean, people throw drinks at them in the drive-through windows, and it's just awful behavior. It's something that you would not want to happen to your kid or your
Yeah.
loved one or to you.
We're getting off topic, but
Yeah,
for those of you listening, be kind to your server.
exactly. That's what we're trying to say. But yes, she ends up with a job at Costco, which she's kind of
She
ruining.
she does like this guy works. You see him with maps, with surveying equipment, with telescopes. This guy definitely works to find that treasure. But she actually got a job at Costco and then got into a swinger group to
Yeah,
help him out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's
And
funny.
why a swinger group is messing with an underage girl because they generally do not do that. Not that
Yeah,
I know a ton of swingers,
yeah,
but I know a
yeah.
few.
Yeah, of course, you're in Portland. But
Exactly.
but no, as far as that's true. It's like they were worse than most because and they actually gave her like they said, "Oh no, it's a
Oh my God,
the
that
drink."
thing.
Yeah, the drink they gave her, they said, "Oh, that's a virgin and there's no alcohol in it." And then she's sitting there and she's going, "I think there's alcohol in this." And all she's trying to do is get a hold of they they
So
heard that
so
there was
the swingers group contains the manager of said Costco.
yeah, and probably the assistant manager, either his wife or girlfriend, but and they actually are pretty funny, but naturally it's not very nice what they're doing, but
Well, I mean, the giving the alcohol isn't very nice, but swingers in general, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, yeah, no, I have no problem. Hey, I have no problem with what
They get
anyone
to
does.
live their life.
Yeah, it's what you do sexually with your life, as long as it's legal, um, then that's all I can say is,
Mhm.
it's like I don't care what
Yeah,
somebody else
but
does.
again, it was extremely unusual seeing them even consider
Yeah,
inviting an underage girl.
right, right. But obviously they were quite taken with her. But
Well,
she's hysterical because she pretends to end up getting sick after she gets the key. And Michael
I don't
Douglas,
know if she pretended.
that's true. She probably, yeah,
I mean, I
that's
doubt
true.
she's had much, if any, alcohol in her life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And she had pretty much down the drink. The other thing that I thought was hysterical was Michael Douglas when he's telling her, "Don't you go to like that swimming bar." But I'm thinking to myself, is he really telling her no, or is he just like because he was warning her? You got to be careful. These people. He's actually the one that told her these people are swingers. She didn't even realize it, and he was like, she was like.
I
They,
think he actually meant it, but didn't realize that the last thing you tell a kid is no.
yeah, that's true. And especially a girl that's as strong and as independent as she has been. And
And will
the
be.
worst, well, the worst thing he did to her was when that car, that beat up shitbox of a car, she loved that car. And she looks out the window and it's the only thing she's got to get to work and to that shitty job at McDonald's. She goes, where's my car? And he was like, oh, yeah, I sold it. And
Yeah, he didn't even warn her, didn't tell her.
no, no. So, like I said, on the one hand, but Michael Douglas, his character is complex because, for one thing, he is mentally ill. So
Mm.
you have to, but you feel so bad for her.
I
But
don't know. I gotta say, I don't know what his diagnosis would be because he was an oddball. He was
mm,
eccentric. I
that's
didn't really see much that I would classify as a mental
that's
illness.
true. He might not have been. It might have been more just that he didn't fit in with the norms, and that's. But Michael Douglas is. I mean, Evan Rachel Wood. Absolutely fantastic in this role. Michael Douglas is over the top great in this role. He's so good. The expressions that he puts on his face are so damn funny. This is probably one of the best one of the best expressions. He's really good in this role, like looking like he's whacked out of his mind, and but yeah, I think it's most of what his character is somebody that's just very eccentric, um, but not exactly. You're thinking to yourself, this guy's off his nut. There's no way, and they end up using a it's not a jackhammer, but it's some kind of a
I
tool
thought
they
it was a
bought.
jackhammer.
It might have been, or it was just some kind of um, you
Something
know,
that busts concrete. That's a
yeah, some kind of pneumatic hammer, whatever it was. It actually got through the concrete, and you have to figure there's got to be like four, especially in California with all the earthquakes. There's probably 4 or 5 foot of but they dig through the floor, and and once they dig through it, and then they're down to soil and they're pulling the soil out, and they hit water, and she's like, "Oh God, we like that smells horrible. Did we bust into a sewer line?" And he's like, "Oh no, no, that's just a high salt." And I'm thinking, I mean, the first time I ever watched this, my first thought was, "Wow, you're in a sewer line."
you're in a sewer.
Yeah, and but the movie is so crazy because despite all of his wackiness and despite all of his like the whole time you're thinking to yourself, this guy is so nutty, and she just wanted the bonding experience, I think, with her dad. I think she wanted that more than anything. I think that's more why she was going along with this whole thing of and he did. I mean, at one point he finds he finds a coin, which I definitely don't think was a doubloon or anything like that. It was shiny, and
I
maybe
know
it
it,
was
it convinced their friend Pepper.
sure it did. It absolutely did. And Pepper was another cool character because
Pepper to me was a missed opportunity. Like
yeah,
he was little more than a prop, and I
yeah,
really wanted to know him as a character.
yeah. I totally agree with you. He was actually, and the other thing is, like, you never even see like totally who was Willis Burks. Is that was his name?
Oh, that's yeah, Willis Burke's the second.
Yeah, and I really didn't know him from really too much of anything else, but I
He
know
hasn't been in much.
no, his face was so familiar not only while I was watching this, but like I said, I just felt like wow, I know this guy from some other roles, but I felt bad for him too because he is sitting outside the Costco keeping watch, and the cops come along. He ends up, he knows they're making too much noise inside.
He sacrifices himself for them.
He does. He gets on that motorcycle and starts driving a slow a, a slow escape from the cops, and they're just like driving slowly behind him, going, "Come on, man, just pull over." And he makes sure he gets them far enough away from the Costco that, and he's by the time that they start to figure out there's got to be something going on at the Costco. By the time he distracts them long enough that they're able to mostly do what they wanted to do. Um, but yeah, his part was another was a small part, but really good role for him, and I really liked the character. Um, I don't know. I like I said, I picked this movie because I had seen it years ago, and the movie touched me in enough ways that it was
This
I
is
felt it was heartwarming and also like a really cool, funny story. And but keep going.
this was a great story. This was a good movie, and unfortunately, it could have been great. This could have been a
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
yeah,
And there were a few missteps because this guy was a first-time director, the
yeah,
guy that
yeah,
did this.
yeah. Mike
And
Cahill.
I
Yep.
think, again, great movie, loved watching it, could have been so much better.
Yeah, I didn't feel it like in a really super impactful way, but at the same time, um,
The
I
soundtrack was horrible. I'm sorry. A lot
yes,
of
but
times the music did not track.
yes, but it did end with California Stars, and and by the way, that song is really known with Billy Bragg and Wilco, but they popularized it. But shout out to Woody Guthrie, who wrote the song and does not often get people. A lot of times will credit like Billy Bragg with writing the song. Didn't write it. Maybe very much wrote the music the way Wilco did the song, but they didn't write it. They may have written music to go along with it, but Woody Guthrie wrote that song on a and maybe wrote it as a poem, but he or maybe intended it to be lyrics. I don't know whether he ever put it to music, but he wrote it on a plane flight from California to New York. So uh, that's kind of like a little piece of trivia there. But I
So,
love
ending song good. The music during the swingers party was great. That was perfect. But
perfect.
there were so many parts of the movie where I'm watching the scene and I'm thinking, why are you putting that music with it?
Yeah, yeah. There were odd choices. I mean, there were a couple of you know pieces during the movie that I thought fit, but you're right. There's a lot of ones that just didn't really work with this particular movie. But again, and I don't know what their budget was. It had to be enough that they could afford Michael Douglas.
Uh, the
But
budget was $10 million.
oh, okay. Well, that's relatively small for a movie.
Well, unfortunately, you know what the box office return was? 1 million.
Wow. See, again, if we could get the some
This
people.
movie is totally worth watching.
Oh my God,
This is
it's
a great story. The story
yeah,
is one of the best I've seen.
yeah.
It's well acted, um, but again, there are just a few missteps that prevent this from being fantastic.
Well, it's funny because you had just picked Romance in the Stone, and I was thinking of this movie while I was watching Romance in the Stone. This is another movie that involves a treasure hunt,
Mhm.
and I mean that's central to what's going on here, and whether or not there's actually really a treasure. Which that is one of
The
the things.
ambiguity in this movie was well done.
Yeah, and we're spoiler alert, so we often spoil the movie by talking about it. So anyone who hasn't seen this movie, or I for sure urge you to watch this. I think Dom is urging you also.
I second that. If you haven't seen it and you're at all thinking about it, shut our video off.
Yeah, and
Go watch the movie.
yeah, and come back to us if you would. But but no, it's I love the humor in this. I love the whole father daughter thing that's kind of real dysfunctional, but at the same time, um, the
Heartwarming.
it is, it's very heartwarming. The daughter truly loves her dad, and the father does really love his daughter. And one of the things, it does have a really kind of a nice sweet note at the end. That's and
Well,
without
bittersweet.
it's no, it's absolutely bittersweet, but at the
I
same
mean, I feel
time,
so bad for her.
yeah, 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 because really all she wanted more than anything was some kind of functional relationship with her dad. I mean, she didn't have from either parent. And this almost reminds me a little bit of, if you ever seen the movie The Champ, either the original or the one with John Voight and Ricky Schroeder, the remake. That movie there, it was like that kid just wanted his dad,
Hmm.
and his dad is trying to do everything he can to get enough money so that they can have a solid relationship where the kid will be with him full time. And of course, the father ends up going out on a table on a meat slab,
Hmm.
um, after a fight that doesn't go well.
Well, how
But
else are you going to make the audience cry?
yeah, well, believe me, that's one of those movies. And I'm a softie. I've always been a softie, but I've gotten worse as I've gotten older too. I'll Tears come to my eyes a lot quicker. And trust me, if you're young and you're watching us talk about this, it'll happen to you too, because it does.
It'll happen to
Um,
you.
absolutely. But no, I remember going to the theater watching, and we're getting off track here, of course, but the
As we
champ,
always do.
yeah, I walked out of the champ just crying my eyes out. It was like, wow, that movie just tore me up. Um, but um, but this movie is not going to do that to you. That's one of the, but it might bring a tear to your eye for sure.
It's definitely a bittersweet ending. I
Yeah.
mean, she loses everything. She gains some things, but she
Yes.
loses a lot.
Well, she does get one thing he does do for her in this, without like trying to give this the whole plot away. He does leave her with something very special. Um,
We
and in
don't
a
know
very,
how special.
well, I don't know. I saw
It was a nice washer.
it was a nice washer, but there was a golden glow inside.
Yeah, I mean, a beehive, it could be anything.
It could
A,
have been,
a
but
lifetime supply of honey.
yeah, I don't think so. I think he actually, I think because he's one of the things he says to her, um, when the because the cops are on their way and they're running out of time. He comes back up and he says, um, I found it. There's more, and she's not even listening. And he says, I found it. There's more down there. I got to go back down. And then the cops are coming inside, and she runs. Oh, he ties her up. He That's part of the spoiler alert going on here. He does tie her up because he's trying to make it look like he abducted her and did this thing to her against her will, so that she doesn't get in trouble. And so he actually goes back down. But before that, you see him moving to the store, and he's carrying something heavy, and he's looking all around the store, and he does something, and then he goes back to the hole again, and meanwhile she's like trying to hold the line because he goes back. She's like, no, no, don't go back down. He goes back down, and she ends up losing the line, um, and he's down in the hole. So that you see they're saying, oh, that no one could find his body. He's never found again. And without,
Uh,
I don't want to,
they
yeah,
do ambiguity well. Is he alive or dead? Did he leave her with something or not?
right.
We're never sure, and
No,
they do it well.
we are not. But the way the whole thing happened with the dishwasher, because she opens the dishwasher, looks inside, you see this golden glow inside the dishwasher, and she closes it again, and she's just got this look on her face like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's like Repo Man. That's like uh, Pulp Fiction. where something's being opened and we're never told what it is. It's
Yeah,
just supposed to represent
true.
something
But you
special.
look at Michael Douglas there, and you tell him that he didn't find that treasure, and so I defy you. But
You doubted that that was an actual Spanish doubloon.
I did, I did.
So
But
so I can certainly doubt that he found the treasure.
no, no. But but no, like I said, it's and that again, that's part of the charm of this movie too, is all of the stuff. Like there's one very funny scene where they're on a at a private course. They are private club. They're looking for a rock that is supposed to have markings on it. And that's another thing. And they never truly show you the rock, the markings that she can see. But he's saying, look, those are the markings. They're upside down, but look, and yeah, there you go. And the, they're looking at them, and she goes, "Oh my God, I do, I see them," and just then a cop comes along, and he proceeds to charm the shit out of the cop. She's a cute Hispanic cop that at first is not having any of his bullshit, and then after a while, he actually kind of manages to charm her,
She's a
and
peach.
yeah, and he writes her number down, writes his number down, and sticks it on the hood of her car, and and he goes, "She's going to call me later."
But that's another thing. That's such a lost thread. I wanted to see more of that.
Yeah,
She later on has a similar interaction with another male police officer, and I wanted to see some of that.
yeah.
The the story is good, but I wanted more. I wanted
Well, I think they gave you more. It's just that for one thing, that they had so much going on. It was hard to flesh out. You're right. It would have been nice. I would have liked to have seen him actually pop up at the end. That
I've actually been trying to find an interview with the director because the director and screenwriter is a guy named Mike Cahill or Cahill.
Gale. Yep, yep.
This was his first ever time directing a movie. He started writing the script for this in the mid 80s,
Wow,
so
wow,
a while ago, but he was unhappy with it and put it away for a while.
wow.
And so,
Well, it aged well.
he must have taken out and dusted it off to make this movie, but I wanted to know, like, was he finally happy or did he make drastic changes? What was his
Yeah,
message? What was he trying to say with this? Because again, I wanted more.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I felt like I had enough from, and I don't mean that in a way of like I had enough. I mean,
Okay.
I had enough to really satisfy me. I saw this movie years ago, over 10 years ago, I believe, when I first saw it. And it was a movie that I knew nothing about. I just took a chance, and I was really pleased and surprised that it was that good. Um, because I had heard nothing about it, probably because it didn't make any money at the box office.
You really didn't. This was not promoted at all.
See, that's my feeling, is that so much of whether a movie is a success is how much the studio backs it.
Yes.
And some studios often don't know what they have. They'll back something that's a piece of crap.
Well, also
And
these were really small independent studios.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not like they had like Paramount connections or Disney or anything.
yeah, true. And but like I said, with more promotion, I think this could have been much bigger than what it
This is a
was.
worthy film. I
It's
definitely hope someone sees this and
yeah.
goes looking for it.
Well, my feeling on this, if there's anybody still watching, still paying attention to what we're saying, if you haven't seen King of California, watch it. Yeah, it's well worth the watch. It's a sweet movie. In many ways, it's like very heartwarming. Uh,
I,
great.
I'm saying my little complaints because
Yeah,
I would give this a 7 or 8 out of 10 as opposed to a 10 out of 10.
yeah.
That's
Well,
still a 7 or 8 out of 10. It's a good movie.
yeah. Well, you're doing what I often do. If a movie that you picked that I've never seen, and maybe I've got some critiques and some complaints about it.
Right, right.
But at the same, I mean, we often do that with movies. Is we're gonna find the flaws, but and point them out. But at the same time, yeah, and I'm not, I will not uh, gainsay it at all. It's true. There are some there are some things that could have been better, but what's good is so good that it's really worth the watch. And for both Michael Douglas and Evan Rachel Wood, stellar acting out of both of them. They're so good in this. Um,
And the
and
story is top notch.
It really is. It's a terrific story. Um, it's the story drives the movie. The acting drives the movie. It's so good. So I would just urge people check this movie out. It's one that a lot of people I'm sure have not seen it. If we could even just do nothing else but manage to make it a little bit better known, so a few more people see it. Um, it's worth your. It'd be a great Saturday night, Sunday evening watch. Good family picture. It's just fun, um, and definitely
Although
bittersweet.
it does have serious elements. It is quite
Yeah,
fun, but it does have very serious elements.
yeah. It's when Michael Douglas. Yeah,
It does have serious elements.
case in point, when Mike and he is so good at playing the madcap nut that's part of why it's even like this scene here behind me when he's taking his daughter through Costco and you look at the expression on her face and he's walking to the store and talking about the treasure about Costco and by the way I do love Costco I have to say.
Do you know they actually filmed in a Costco?
Well, it sure looked like it.
They,
It
they,
sure
they
looked
were
like it.
in a Costco, and there was, we're talking a whole film crew.
Yeah,
These people are going around and looking at the merchandise. And so
yeah.
Costco had someone manning the register overnight so that
Wow.
crew members could buy stuff that they wanted.
Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. No, honest to God, like I had never stepped foot inside of a Costco until I was living in Washington State, and that was the first time I ever went into a Costco. And I was like, and I, like around here, there's well, shouldn't say there's a lot, but like in my local area, there's a BJ's wholesale, and I'm not trying to knock BJ's, but they're a shadow of what Costco is. Costco is it does everything so much bigger and better. They're a terrific store. As bad as prices are these days, they're pretty damn good for prices. And the only big problem is you have to buy things in bulk, but which is a little harder for me. I live alone. I'm alone, so it's a little harder for me. But if I can find deals, and I often do, that I can still buy something in a large pack. Hey, toilet paper, whatever. There's a lot of great deals, and so I definitely love my Costco, and luckily there's a couple of them. I want them to build one right down in Portsmouth, and I'm hoping that they actually put one in. There's the old mall's going down, Tom. Your old
Which
your
one? Fox
well,
Run or
Well, Fox Run was the main mall. They're tearing that down. So that's going down in Portsmouth, and they've got plans they're going to put a bunch of new shops in some big areas. And there are people that are hoping that Costco is one of them. So shout out to Costco. Put one in Portsmouth. That's where we
this
need one.
video brought to you by
Yeah,
Costco.
exactly. And hey, if you guys want to sponsor us, we're talking you up pretty big here. But
Okay, enough of the Costco worship. Back to the movie.
yes, back to the movie, which again, King of California, um, for
This
all
was
of the
shot in 31 days.
really, see,
Yeah,
that's even more impressive
it's
right
very
there.
impressive.
That's extremely impressive. That would be what you would call a rushed movie, and it does not feel that way at all.
It doesn't feel that way.
No, it's like I said, I think it's
I don't
beautifully.
know how long post-production took because that's a whole nother thing, but
Yeah, yeah. I have a feeling that they probably had an easy day's, or I shouldn't say a day's work, but days meaning plural, um, on this one because I have a feeling it must have, to be able to shoot it in that short of a time, things had to have gone fairly smoothly in order to get that wrapped in that short of a time.
Well, because other things would happen too. Evan Rachel Wood was telling someone that Michael Douglas was so funny on the set
He
that he
was.
would have the crew in stitches, sometimes to the point where they had to reshoot scenes.
Dude, the expressions on that dude's face in this movie. I mean, um, he makes you like, a good example, the shot you've got behind you, but some of the looks on his face, he's either so intense or so bug-eyed. It's just, you're like, oh my God, this guy is, and that's part of why he sold the movie, because you think to yourself, this guy really is a nutcase, and he's dragging her down with him. And that's why, like I said, I definitely choose to believe, and I think there's evidence to back it up, but I definitely choose to believe he did find it. And that's, you want him to have found it
You want
because
him to have found it. You could definitely imagine him finding it, but it's never clear.
no, and they do it on purpose.
Yeah,
They definitely do that on purpose. They want you to, because everything's, you're wondering about everything. It's like when he comes up with the with the so-called the balloon. And at one point when they're reading the coin, I think somebody says something about, I don't know if it was sterl or 14 karat or something like that. And it's like you found something that was made, in
yeah,
this half of
and
the
that's
century.
something I've. It's been a long time since I've used a metal detector, and
Yeah,
he was
same.
saying that the tone of the sound goes up or down depending on the metal.
Well, that was definitely true of earlier detectors. It probably is still, but detectors. I haven't used a metal detector in so many years.
It's been
Uh,
decades.
your cousin Frank has one and uses it sometimes on the beach. And believe me, if I was younger and I had an easier time getting up and down to dig and things like that, I would probably still be using one. But I used to love doing it. It's a totally nerd hobby, but at the same time, it's fun. And
If
I found some.
anyone from Portland is watching this, I've never seen anyone use a metal detector in Portland, and there are some prime spots.
I'm wondering why that. Yeah, Portland should be a great area. Um, Maybe that's a hobby for you, Dom. That might be a future hobby. It's like I said, it's totally nerdy, but it's a fun thing to do for, especially if you can get a.
It's time consuming for
It is.
potentially no return.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have to expect that. Um, I have found some cool things with it. I won't go into that now, but I definitely have found some cool things with it. Had a lot of
Little
fun.
doubloons.
Yeah, no doubloons, no doubloons. I found silver. And I found gold rings. Nothing too super expensive or nothing that I could retire on. That's for sure. So that's why we're doing this. But but no, like I said, um, I this is a movie that I just happened to come across a number of years ago. It's always stuck in my head. You caused me to remember it and really want to see it again because of
But
the
part
answer
of me
stone.
wants to choose the game just to show the full range of Michael Douglas acting.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah. I'll tell you, he is good in this. And anyone that has not seen this movie, he is absolutely great in this. Yeah, Evan Rachel Wood, I really,
It was hilarious seeing her in this role when Westworld is the only thing I'd seen her in.
really, yeah, because I mean, I loved her in Westworld.
Oh, loved her.
Um, she was so good in that. That was a neat series.
That was a
Um,
great series until season three.
yeah, it lost me after season two. I was with it till through season two, but yeah, she helped to really make Westworld. She was a big part of.
She was a powerful character in that.
Absolutely, and from something that um, had no power. She made it I mean, her character becomes a
Her
power.
story arc is great.
Yes. Oh, it absolutely is. The idea of these, they're almost slave-like creatures. They are robotics that actually gain independence. It's kind
They
of
didn't have
cool.
to deal with Yul Brenner though,
No, that's true. That's true. That would have been a lot.
which
Would have
for
been a lot.
anyone confused is from the original movie Westworld.
Yes, West. Which someday I'd like to. Both Future World and Westworld. I liked both of them. Westworld was the better of the two, but Future World was actually kind of fun. Um, and but anyway, yeah, we're getting away from that. Other than Rachel Wood is fantastic in that, and this is a very young Rachel Wood, and she's terrific in this. She shows, you know, she was in stuff even before this, but she definitely shows her chops in this.
Yeah,
When
she's
you're
not as
watching
good
her,
as
and
Michael Douglas, but
yes,
then he's got a lot more seasoning.
yeah, and that's the scene behind you right now. That is the scene you were talking about earlier with the cop that she meets, and
I could
yeah,
have sworn something was going to happen between those two.
I know, and I would have loved to have seen something like the last scene of the movie when she's on the beach and she's saying his vision coming true because he had this dream vision. And I would have loved to have had the
He didn't
cop
have
pull.
it. That wasn't a dream vision. He actually was telling her that naked Chinese men were washing up on the beach.
Well, yeah, but he says, I don't know whether this was a dream or whether I saw this or, he made it so, talking about ambiguous, he made it so, you know, um, it was so
So
ethereal that you couldn't figure
I
it out.
tracked down what he was referring to.
Oh, did you
Yeah, in
really?
2002, 10 Chinese men were on a raft and swam naked to the shore of Newport Beach, California.
Wow, wow, wow. That's quite a that's quite a feat right there. That's cool.
Exactly.
But no, yeah, I would have loved to have seen the cop pulling up behind her, and then the two of them start a kind of a flirty conversation and let it roll out with the credits and California. That it closes out with California Stars, and I love the song, and I thought that was a terrific way of bringing that to a close. And she's got her car, she's got her Volvo, her old beat up Volvo with a dishwasher in the back and something gold glowing inside of it. And I thought, yep, she's going to be rich. So
Well, that's what we're all hoping.
that's what we're hoping. And again, like I said, I think they gave enough that you can at least. It's not like I remember watching a movie with your aunt Pat one time, and we watched the movie, and it was something that ended on a. You thought to yourself, "Wow, this ended real badly." There's nothing. There's nothing. And Pat was saying to me, "Oh, I actually like. I think this happened," and it's like, what makes you believe? But this one actually gives you enough things that you can actually have that hope.
Well, I mean, I hope so because she lost everything else, her dad, her
Yeah,
house,
yeah,
everything.
yeah. She needed that, and that was to me that was the whole. That was what gave you the. It was some type of catharsis at the end. You needed that too. So, but like I said, I do. I believe there was enough there. He slipped a piece of paper in her jacket or pocket, and it was Costco. When you go in the store, you shop. If there's some item that you want to buy and it's too big, all you have to do is grab that label and bring it up to the register. You pay for it, and they'll bring the thing up to you, and you take it home. And that's what it was. It was a dishwasher, which she wanted a dishwasher, but it was like I said.
Why do you need a dishwasher?
Well, if you've ever, I love dishwashers. I think they're, it's funny because if you don't have one and you're stuck doing it, then you have to say, yeah, I'm the dishwasher here. But it's so nice to be able to rinse things
Let,
off and
let
put
me
them in
tell you,
there.
I have never used a dishwasher.
Man, they're
We
great.
have one.
Yeah. Well,
I don't use it.
damn, they're so good. They're so good. Let's in the comments. Four dishwashers against,
Well, I
but
know I'm the odd man out here. Like I really enjoy doing dishes by hand.
well, you have to agree with Michael Douglas then because that's what he says.
Well, exactly.
But he was the one that was piling the dishes up in the sink every
Well,
morning. She
he
gets up.
obviously did not enjoy doing them.
No, and but he's content to have her do them, and she's going to work at McDonald's on top of it. And he's like, it's like, can you do a little bit to help her out? Instead, he leaves dishes in the sink. He sells her car. He does all this stuff to just throw off. She was like, I'm gonna have to take the bus to work now. You know, so but like I said, he does actually pawn his base, which he said he would never do again. He said he'd pawn his mother before he pawn his base again, and he pawns his base to get her car back because he realizes how bad it was that he got rid of her car. But but yeah, like I said, the dishwasher, it reminds me of the line, and a dishwasher is real helpful if you're someone that if you're someone that if you're someone that has to do dishes and you've got a lot of stuff piled up and you don't have the time and you need to get something. It's real quick to rinse them off and put them in there. Yeah, there they are watching the dishwasher, a father daughter bonding moment. But it kind of reminds me of the line in It's a Wonderful Life with the angel, and Jimmy Stewart saying, "You don't happen to have 20,000 or whatever, 10,000," and he says, "Oh, no, we don't use money up in heaven." He goes, "Well, it comes in handy down here, Bob." And that's the thing. It's like if you need it, then same with a dishwasher. It comes real in handy. But but again, off the track there, this is a terrific movie. King of California. It's not well known to a lot of people. Um, I highly recommend the movie.
Yeah, it's criminal. This isn't better known because these are some phenomenal performances.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
example of movie making.
I mean, in some ways, this character is probably much more complex than his character in, say, Romance in the Stone.
Oh, well,
You know,
definitely.
that was an easy comedic role. This one is much more complex. He plays he plays a guy that's really appearing intelligent. At times, he's um, completely off his wall, Starkers, crazy nuts, and then other times, um, he's completely irresponsible as a father and doing horrible stuff, and then he does something very sweet and heartwarming. So very complex character, um, and and he nails it. And I bet what you're saying is truly correct. I think he probably was cracking everybody up on the set because he just had this role. He was just so good at portraying this guy, this hippy dippy dude. And so yeah, as much as I like his role in Romance in the Stone, I love what he was doing here.
It's almost surprising. I've seen a lot of actors' children get into acting.
Yeah,
Very few of them live up to the legacy. And this
yeah,
guy,
yeah,
wow, he is great.
yeah, yeah. I mean, his father being the great Kirk Douglas. I mean, like you said, Spartacus. Um, that's that's a hard role to. It's like being Scott Eastwood or something.
Mhm.
It's like how the hell do you live up to that? But Scott Eastwood's actually he is pretty good. He hasn't had enough challenging roles, but my God, when Clint Eastwood's your dad, so I could really see how Michael Douglas could have just rested on his laurels and let his dad have the, but he went after it, and he's actually as heavy of an actor as his dad, and
Easily, easily.
so yeah, you got to give Michael Douglas a ton of credit. Terrific actor, and his legacy is, I think, is as strong as his father's, and that
I'm
says a
not sure.
lot.
I'm not sure I have much more to add about this movie other than to give it the two thumbs up.
Yeah, I fully give it. I don't know why. There's my other thumb. There's my other thumb. But
Not perfect by a long shot, but still
yeah,
a really
still two
good
thumbs
movie.
up. Yeah. Yep. I brought this. I figured this was one you maybe hadn't seen.
I hadn't seen it. Thank you for suggesting it.
Yeah. And I mean, for that expression right right there, it's worth watching. Folks, if you haven't seen this movie, check it out. It's good. It's truly good. It's truly worth a watch. And that's probably all.
And you're right. It's also a movie you could watch with the entire family.
Yes. Yeah, there's nothing in this movie. There's not even any real swearing in this movie. If
And
there's
there's
any
a lot to
expletive,
appeal to a lot of different people.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's nothing offensive in it. There's nothing, you know, it's for, hey, for these times even, there's nothing that anybody should get offended over. I think it's a pretty heartwarming, sweet movie. It's
Mike, they tore up a Costco's.
that's true. That's true. But the Costco floor did get repaired. So possibly with him underneath.
Possibly.
But no, like I said, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Please leave a like, subscribe if you would. I think we're kind of wrapping this one up. But Dom, we're coming down to you right now, and it's your pick next week.
Well, I heard we've got a request for the movie Get Shorty.
We did have a request. So yeah,
And that's an excellent movie. So that
yes.
is going to be my next pick.
So yeah, for our commenter in there, we appreciate you suggesting that movie. Get Shorty is a terrific movie. I haven't seen that in a long, long
It's
time.
been years and years.
It's so long that I only barely have the movie down in my head right now. So it's going to be a fun rewatch for me. So yeah, we're gonna, I guess. And Dom, glad you glad you picked up on that one.
I was choosing the next movie is always a bit of, oh, do I
Oh my
choose
God,
this or
yeah,
that or this or that? So like when that request came through, it just locked it in for me.
yeah, yeah. Well, and again, Get Shorty that's a movie worth watching. Like I said, if it lives up to the memory that I have of it, which again is cloudy because I'm old, but but at any rate, we're gonna bring that to you guys next week. So if you haven't seen Get Shorty, check it out, watch it now, so that you can not have to worry about our spoilers in the movie.
And as I
Because
recall, this is a really easy movie to find.
yeah, it is. It may be available. I'm pretty damn sure I have it on Vudu, but I think it's on Tubi. I think it's in a number of places. So for
Several
people,
platforms.
yeah, so people looking for it, you'll find it if you're looking for it. So check it out. That's terrific cast. Another Danny DeVito one. We keep
Yeah.
going. We keep pulling up Michael Douglas or Danny DeVito.
And
It's
now we're
it's
doing our first John Travolta.
That's true, John Travolta. So, which honestly, like I was really thinking the other day, I really want to do Saturday Night Fever.
Hmm.
That movie is just a fun movie with one of the best openings of any movie of that type of genre. Um, and but That's a fun movie. We'll have to get to that down the road. So anyway, I think having said all that, Dom, I think we can wrap up another one. And I think it was
Put this in the can.
yeah, I think this was a fun talk. So yeah,
That's a good
let's
movie.
it terrific movie. So once again, folks, we'll see you guys next week. Dom, it's been real, it's been fun. I had a blast.
It
So
always is. Love going to the movies.
yes, we try to bring the movies to you. So see you guys next week, and that's a wrap.